Well, we are here today to provide a short overview and answer questions about the proposed Healthy Life Center in West Ames. Now, with me today are Tom Barton and Harris Seidel, and I'd like to ask them to give us a brief summary of their professional experience and how long they've lived in Ames. Tom, you want to get started?
Sure. I came to Ames in 1967 as a newly minted assistant professor in organic chemistry, and frankly, I had every intention of trying to get an international reputation, getting tenure, and getting out of Ames. Ames is, of course, quite a bit north and quite a bit colder than my home of South Texas. However, we fell in love with Ames. And so here I am almost exactly 50 years later, still in Ames. In addition to being a chemistry professor at Iowa State University, during that time I was also the director of the Ames Laboratory of the Department of Energy for 18 years. It sometimes seemed longer, and I assume that that's presumably accounts for me being invited here today.
Indeed it does. Thank you. Harris?
Yes, I'm a graduate of Iowa State, gone for several years, came back in 1951 to work for the city of Ames, and that was my career. One of my responsibilities was, as a director of water pollution control, to be in charge of the wastewater treatment plant for the city, which I think is what is relevant here.
Absolutely. Thank you. The proposed 10-acre site for the Healthy Life Center is located north of Ontario Street in West Ames. The land is currently owned by Iowa State, but it's being leased for farming. Iowa State has owned this property for many years, and it has always been used for agricultural purposes. The proposed Healthy Life Center site is bounded on the south by Ontario and residential homes, to the west by 6 single-family homes, and on the east by Shoal Road, and on the north by railroad tracks. Iowa State's Applied Science Center is approximately 1,600 feet, or about 550 yards, to the north of the Healthy Life Center site. Approximately 825 feet southeast of the Applied Sciences Center is the Kingman Road, Amherst Drive residential neighborhood with 50 households. The Healthy Life Center location is also on the Cyride bus route. Now, I wanted to ask Tom and Harris, has the proposed site for the Healthy Life Center ever been used by Iowa State for purposes other than agriculture?
Not to my knowledge, and I really can't imagine what else it could have been used for and then turned back into a cornfield, but I'll yield to Harris on that one.
No, I have to second that, not to my knowledge.
Has the proposed site for the Healthy Life Center ever been used by Iowa State to dispose of chemical waste or hazardous materials?
No. And best of my knowledge, it's never been used as a disposal site for anything. And I'm more than a little confident that had it been, I would have heard about it.
Well, I think with your relationship with the research at Iowa State that you probably would be. Harris?
Certainly not to my knowledge.
Now, the Applied Science Complex was formerly the ISU Atomic Energy Commission Department of Energy's research reactor, but it is no longer used for this purpose. Tom, can you tell me when it was decommissioned?
Yes, it actually was decontaminated and decommissioned in 1977. This was a project that was overseen by chemistry professor Adolf Voigt. Very accurate records were kept of this site, and the grounds, every aspect of its use was well documented, and questionable material, any questions about it, was removed and shipped off to a certified containment facility long away from Iowa. It was then thoroughly inspected and declared safe for general use, and after Iowa State University was absolutely certain that it was clean, it accepted the building as a gift and remodeled it for use as the Applied Science Center. I should also point out that there was, on those grounds, there was a small pit dug, and it was used, I think, a single time as a disposal pit for chemical waste chemicals, not radioactive materials, but just waste chemicals, I think largely from chemical research on the Iowa State campus. That pit was dug back up. Everything was taken out of it and removed, sent off to a containment facility, I think in Utah, back in the 1990s. And I should also point out that that was well, I have a map here, but no one can see it but me. That was well north of this facility that we're proposing for the HLC.
Now, the property where the Applied Science Complex is located was ISU property leased by the federal government and is now strictly state property. But of course, this is not the site that is proposed for the Healthy Life Center. And my question is, has the Healthy Life Center proposed site ever been federal land?
No. The land has never been used, leased, or owned by the federal government. At least not since Iowa was a territory, and that puts us back before 1846.
1846. Now, this is my question to both of you. Should residents have any concerns at all about the environmental safety of this site for the proposed Healthy Life Center?
No, although I would commend you for going the extra mile to be absolutely certain that that is true. But this site is no different from any other developmental site in Ames. Iowa State has expressed its willingness to sell the property to the city of Ames for this project. And in my mind, the only novelty about this development in Ames is it doesn't involve a massive number of new apartment buildings.
Harris, what can you add to that?
Well, it's always been a farm field in my observation, my lifetime here. Let me take that a step further. As I mentioned, I was in charge of the city wastewater treatment plant during those years. And I also was given security clearance by the Atomic Energy Commission and was kept informed, I would say fully informed, about the waste treatment practices from both the reactor site and Ames lab. So I can confirm that there's been no waste deposited there at any time.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you, Harris, for sharing this history of the site, especially given its geographical proximity to the Applied Science Center. We feel that it's critical to erase any fallacies that have existed for decades in some people's minds about this location. And your addressing this in a forthright manner is very much valued and very much appreciated. And I thank you for coming today.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.